Man, oh, it's been a long time since we've done a breakdown news coverage of trucking. A lot has happened. Honestly, a lot of things that are going to affect you and me. I'm still a truck driver. I've been doing it for about 4 years now. And so a lot of people used to call me the hip hopper. And now I'm known as the angry tradesman, right? So a lot of times you look at a truck driver, they're not in the best of moods. And I know my smile is kind of counterintuitive to my name, but if you're new here, pretty much what I usually back then used to do is go on my journey, project them out here, tell you about my experiences as a truck driver. Now I cover the news about it since I got my feet a little wet in the pond here. Now, there's plenty of other people out here that got more, experience than me. But hey, the turnover rate, I think, is like 92% within trucking in the first year. So I made it, baby. I made it. All right. So other than that, what has happened with me, a little brief update before we get into the three components, is I'm at the top tier when it comes down to trucking, other than an owner operator. So that might be my next step. I got to build up the capital, but for right now, I'm doing pretty well in trucking. I'm local. I'm not in the semi truck like the tractor trailer sense, but I'm still in a truck. So we'll talk about that. If you're interested, let me know if you're interested in what I'm doing, let me know in the comments down below. But we're talking about three things that is going to affect you. And these are news, relevant news within trucking. And if you're not in trucking, you're just interested, you clicked onto this video, welcome. My name used to be Champion Trucker. Now I am the Angry Tradesman. I know my smile, again, is counterintuitive, but I've been in the trucking industry for about 4 years now, and I've learned a lot. I've been on multiple journeys within this industry, and we have three things that are going to really affect us. Number one, going to be a CEO of a large multi-billion-dollar company stepping down. You've seen this company multiple times if you're a truck driver out there. On top of that, you have the tariffs that are actually impacting the trucking industry, and I'm going to be looking down at my cell phone, which has all my notes, so we'll go over that. On top of that, the most crucial part is autonomous semi-trucks. They're out there. Of course, the base for it all is going to be in a state that is more tech driven. We'll go over all that and more in this video, so stick around. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I know I haven't been on this channel, but I've been trying to do multiple things, but I realized that a lot of people subscribe for one thing, and that's trucking. I mean, no dip. That's what I used to be. Hopefully you guys can roll with me with the Angry Tradesman, because sometimes I might get a little angry about what's going on. You never know. It's a surprise here in this video. All right, so Judy McReynolds. Yeah, McReynolds. I had to make sure, not McDonald's. But Judy McReynolds is stepping down at the age of 63. I mean, she was the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar called ArcBest. If you guys haven't ever heard of this company, is more so known for, I think it's like AB, I forgot what it is. Hold on, I got it. ABF. I know it as ArcBest. I don't know. ABF. So if you ever seen the gray green trucks out there, that's the multi-billion-dollar company that she was head spearing, and she's stepping down. At 63 years old, she's been doing it since 1997, built up the company, is reasonable. But of course, there's going to be a little bit of a change. So if you are concurrently working for the company, expect some major changes to come. I mean, anytime there's a different change of hands, acquisition, or anything, typically there's going to be a little bit of a friction that goes on here. But regardless of the fact, let's go ahead and get into details about who is she, what is her plans going forward, because she's not completely stepping down. She will be a chairman. When is she going to be stepping down? So we have here December 31st, 2025 is the last day of CEO, and will continue to serve as the chairman of the board starting January 1st, 2026. So literally she went from, the highest position to a step down to more of a hands-off approach. Let me give you guys a little bit of, if you're a Walmart driver out here and you don't read, let me tell you about, what's it called? Made in America by Sam Walton. I literally, my brain was like, But Walmart, Sam Walton, pretty much, I got to get my thoughts together. Man, it took me forever just to remember the point I was making. Has anybody had that problem before? Hey, we're being authentic out here. I'm a truck driver. But anyway, Made in America, I almost forgot again. Sam Walton had actually stepped down before, and he could not step on the sideline. So there's a potential that she actually will return back as CEO. I mean, at 63 years old, you kind of been doing it your whole entire life. Since 1960, I forgot the date. I literally said it. 1997, I think that's what I said. You've been doing it for such a long time, it's kind of hard to step back. Of course, she might have grandkids, she might have a life, but let's delve into that. So the successor has already been named, which is going to be Seth Runser. The current president of ArcBest will also assume the CEO role on January 1st, 2026, while restraining his position as president and joining the board. Okay, so long tenure, joined ArcBest in 1997. I'm not a complete dud, but I was right about that. As director of corporate accounting, so she has a little bit of accounting skills. Became CFO and took over CEO of 2010. So the strategic growth transformed ArcBest into a multi-billion-dollar full-service logistics powerhouse. So the revenue is $4.2 billion. Operating income increased and to a nearly $300 million annually. That's wow. They're doing some great stuff. So anybody over there, I know, let me know if you guys work there. If it's good wages, good hours. Being local, from what I found out, it's hard work. You're going to be running, and the work-life balance is there. I know some of y'all is going to be like, no, I don't have a work-life balance. If you working 12 hours a day, that's not bad. Try 18. Try 80 hours a week like me, okay? I don't want to hear what you have to say. Okay, so I made a video, and I'll unprivate a lot of them, but I made a video about, the autonomous vehicles that's going to be coming out. But I want to let you guys know a little bit of a sneak peek before we get to that. That's my last point. That Texas is becoming one of the most tech-driven and also autonomous homeland testing for like locations ever. But before we delve into that, let's talk about how the tariffs have been actually derailing trucking overall, and it's been actually catastrophic. Some of you guys that are actually on the the intermodal, you guys know about it. You see the imports and exports, and from what I've seen is that it can vary, but from what we have is that freight volume has stalled actually. So I got my notes here from actually a Reuters. And the $906 billion U.S. truck sector was on path to recovery from the multi-year freight recession before the tariffs hit. But these duties have put that rebound in jeopardy. Okay, so truck drivers out there that are primarily, I would say, intermodal, because I did it for a stint, is going to be majorly affected by the tariffs, because we're talking about a lot of these ships bringing the containers over from overseas and then bringing them on a chassis, putting it out here, getting out to America, and a lot of our stuff is coming from overseas. And unfortunately, for some reason, we're not now, it's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. So that's from, however you want to say it, Reuters. The Cass Freight Index saw shipping demand fall 4% year over year in May 2025, making 28 consecutive months of decline, with inventory stocked ahead of tariffs now sitting in warehouse and dragging volumes down. So there's this thing where there was a huge generation of, not generation like age-wise, but generation of getting a lot of these goods in as fast as possible before the tariffs hit. And apparently next month on the 1st, we're supposed to, or the 1st, we're supposed to see the official tariffs list for everybody that we do exchange goods with. And the thing is that you can hoard it up, but all of a sudden, if there's no output, or constant flow of currency, that's what money does. But overall, even goods and services is a currency. If there's no currency, there's a stall out, then all of a sudden there's job loss because there's not any more demand. And if the supply is not being bought because the economy is in a stalemate, we're looking at a bad, catastrophic economic position, especially for the truck driver that is going to be faced, because of course America runs on a lot of motor vehicles. you have the railroads, you have, because also containers go on the railroads. On top of that, you have truck drivers, you have Class B drivers, you have a lot of these things that are going to start having some issues because things are not made in-house. We're exporting it, and if we run out of our reserves and we have to pay a higher price, this price goes on to the everyday customer. And if stores are stocked up because the everyday customer cannot afford it, or they're stretching what they used to use in 2 days, they have to stretch for an entire week, that's going to cause a major strain on everybody overall. I know that was very complicated, but it is very true. Declining import volumes. Port traffic has slowed significantly. I literally said this. Seaborne imports from China dropped 28.5% year over year in May 2025, while Drewry forecasts a 1% drop in global container traffic tied to U.S. trade policies. Port of Los Angeles volumes could decline 10% in the later half of 2025 due to sweeping tariffs. If you are owner operator out there, I did see that diesel prices, at least within the Midwest, is not doing so bad. I was out there out west as well on a vacation. It's not doing so horrible, but not from where we were about a year or two ago. Of course, if you're a company driver, you don't care about the diesel rate. A lot of these big companies get a major tax credit for going to certain pilots, loves, or anything like that. They cut a deal within the diesel rates. But if you're an owner operator, obviously right now you had a good run. So let's get into that. Freight rates and spot market effects. You have rate spikes before deadline. Cross-border trucking rates to and from Canada and Mexico surge leading up to tariffs deadlines. Dry vans saw a 8% increase and refrigerated trucks jumped 35%. Of course, if you're looking at owner-operator and you're thinking, oh, okay, I like that 35%, there is a high cost to maintain a refrigerated trailer. If you are owning the refrigerated trailer, it is a high-paying but very niche, niche sector within trucking. And the thing is that if that unit, that reefer unit, goes down, determining if you are using Thermo King, it's a high cost. And I know about it because I was primarily in a reefer, so I know about the cost and I got the breakdown. It's very important that, let's just say anybody out there that's interested in becoming a owner operator in the reefer unit because you think that food is sustainable, well, imagine the high cost if you buy the trailer or lease out the trailer, the high cost of maintenance on there. Because guess what, even though JB Hunt, when I was with them, had the reefer unit, I had to go take in our trailers at least maybe once or twice a month in determining on the cycle of that trailer. So take that into consideration. Talking about JB Hunt, we have price pressure amidst oversupply. Amid prolonged low demand and overcapacity, spot rate remain weak. JB Hunt highlighted that ongoing tariff uncertainty has weighed heavily on freight profitability. That's very true. So let's get to the last thing. This video is already too long. We got to jump into the meat and potatoes into why you clicked on this video, which is going to be autonomous vehicles. Now, they are becoming very prevalent, and I'm talking about all types of vehicles. And with that, we have two in Texas, that is actually running these self-autonomous semi-trucks, and you have Tesla that actually has the cyber taxis. So, but Kodiak Robotics commercial rollout picks up speed. Kodiak has delivered 2 more fully driverless trucks to Atlas Energy Solutions, bringing their fleet to 4 autonomous semis operating in the, I don't know how to say that, basin, now running up to a 24/7 bearing maintenance and fuel stops. These trucks operate under Kodiak's 6th generation Kodiak driver system with automotive grade redundancies, boasting twice the GPU cores, 1.6x processing speed, and nearly 3 times memory versus earlier versions. You also have Aurora Innovations, which is actually publicly traded stock. I talk about stocks on my other channel. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, but I do talk about that company over there. Their stock is low right now. Really, right now, it's about building up that customer basis and how fast are we going to see trucking transform to self-driveless. it could be faster than we think. I know that there's talk within the YouTube spaces that, oh no, it's not going to be here within 5 years. You don't understand the from me being in the military and having the technology that we did and comparable to what civilians had, you don't know what they have. And the thing is that why did they do self-face or driver-facing cams? Why do they have all these sensors? Why do they keep up all this information on these drivers? It's to mimic and come up with an algorithm for the best driver possible for these computers. And of course, there might be a driver on the side, but you're not going to be making $70, $60, $100,000. Now, some of the harder jobs to replicate and replace is going to be some of the food service jobs. So to me, is unless you have a robot that is going to pick up the boxes, have it palletized, make it easy, the warehouse messes up too much. Unless you have a seamless and very high investment within tech, and you're willing to go ahead and be the very first to do it, and you have high capital, then fine. But right now, of course, within the 5-year time span, I do believe we're going to make significant breakthroughs. I don't think that it's going to be fully driverless. I think that it's going to be nearly close, but definitely within the next 20 years, we could see this industry come into more of a driverless, more even driving won't be required. You don't need to. You have right now, even regardless of Tesla's butting heads, you have cyber taxis that are cheaper. Now, does it cost? Well, you don't have to pay a driver, so the cost to get around is very cheap. You have out there in California, recently I was out there, you'll see a vlog of that here soon, but you have that going on, and it was cheap, Waymo, and there's no driver, nothing to pay. So with that being said, hey, you know, I'm gonna call this the angry workers or something like that. We'll come up with a group name. I know I used to call y'all champs. Maybe I should go back to that. Let me know what you guys think of the name. I might go back. I might create something else. It all determines. Of course, I'm trying to figure out my identity, I guess, you know, because I didn't want to just be a truck driver, but YouTube puts you in a box and you gotta work that box. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.